Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and another video. This video, we are ranking the show cover athletes pack. You get to pick one diamond from this. They're all 88s. We're going to go through all of them one by one, and then at the end, I'm going to give you like a top 5 because there's a bunch of them, and then we'll show you guys the Joe Mauer reward at the end. There is a 95 Joe Mauer, I believe, at the end with the 2011 MLB The Show art. So that's what we're looking at today. Hit subscribe if you guys are new. Let's hop right in. The first one, we're going to go backwards by year. So we're going to start with Ohtani, end with Ortiz. That's going to be how we do it. Shohei Ohtani, starting pitcher card. He's going to be decent. He always has that weird windup, unless they've changed it. I have yet to face him in the event games that I've played. He's going to be okay. As far as pitchers go early, there are going to be better ones. So to me, this is probably not the one you take, but there is value in having a pitcher that can hit, and this is going to be a pretty good hitting pitcher, obviously. 67 to 64 contact is a little bit low, but the power numbers are pretty decent. I think it's a good card. It's probably not the one you want to take from this, but obviously if you're an Angels fan or an Ohtani fan, you could grab it, but at that point I would just grab the live series. So this is probably an avoid for me, although the pitch mix is kind of nice. That cutter and slider combo is just kind of hard to hit, or at least it was last year. MLB 21 cover boy was Fernando Tatis, and the first thing we need to acknowledge is his fielding is all over the place. He's got 60 fielding, but he has 95 arm, but he's only got 40 accuracy. But he's got 58 reaction and 89 speed. If I was to pick where to play him, I think it would be in the outfield. I think I would put him in either center field or right field, I think, is where he plays. At shortstop, his fielding's okay. Like 60, I think, is what they said is league average. And it's not like he's going to get bad animations, but he's not going to get the really good quick animations. And even with 95 arm, I do think that will cost you outs at some point. But in the outfield, those animations don't matter as much. So I think in right field, that arm will play really well, or even in center with the speed combo. Hitting wise, he's got a pretty good swing. It always feels good to me and a lot of the player base. I think he's going to be pretty effective. He's very well balanced. His hitting is going to be better than his fielding. I think he's really good. I think this is a really good option for you if you're looking for an outfielder or a shortstop or just a Tatis fan. He's going to be a fun card to use, no doubt. The vision is a little bit low, but you can get away with that at this point in the year. This is a pretty decent card. The next one here is Javi Baez. He plays shortstop, also plays second, third, left, and right. And he's got pretty good numbers versus lefties. And for that, he's going to be viable for a while, even as just a bench bat. But his number versus righties are a little bit lacking, so you'd have to protect him with somebody in your lineup who probably hits righties either probably behind him, so you don't get a lefty or get a righty thrown at him out of the pen. You will have to hit somebody behind him who hits righties pretty well, I think. His vision's a little bit low, but again, this early in the game, you're not going to run into very many people that have 99 Randy Johnson, and then even if you do, you're still low enough in ranked seasons, or it's an all-star event, that he will still probably be hittable, and the PCI won't be too unbearable. But as you progress, 51 vision is going to be tough as you go. His fielding is quite good, though. The arm accuracy is a little bit less to be desired, but honestly, if you're using button accuracy, that shouldn't really be a problem. He's a pretty good card. Baez, in all honesty, is a pretty good card. I don't know that he's the one I would choose, but he is pretty decent. Also, as I'm doing this, going to be doing a pack opening on the channel, so hit subscribe if you guys want to see me rip these packs, see who I go with. It's going to depend on who we pack in the first 22 packs, because if I don't need an outfielder, probably not going to choose Bryce Harper, who is our next pick. Now, Harper has a really good swing. His swing plays above his attributes for sure. Against righties, he's going to rake. Even against lefties, I've found he's pretty good. 59 vision is a little bit low, but it is creeping up to more viable. I think where you kind of want to sit early in the year is right about 60 or so, and he's right below that. His fielding's okay. His arm, I feel like they nerfed it a little bit to get his overall down. But, I mean, overall, this is not a good card. Bryce Harper cards do tend to play very well and play a little bit above their stats. So this is, if you need a corner outfielder and you need a left-handed bat, this is a really good card to go with, in my opinion. Aaron Judge is up next. He's got really good power numbers, clearly, because he's Aaron Judge. He's also got 33 vision. You can get away with that this early in the year, but this card is going to be outpaced quickly. He's also 6'7", and his strike zone is ginormous. So you couple that with the smaller PCI of the not so high contact numbers, not terrible but not great contact numbers, and the 33 vision with a 6'7" guy, it becomes awfully tough to hit. His swing is even decent, but there are going to be cards that you're going to want to use over him pretty quickly. I'm talking about within the next week or two. He's going to be not even like a top 10 outfielder probably. I don't even know that he's a top 10 outfielder right now. His fielding is quite good though. His speed is a little bit low. So instead of an 84 fielding card, he's probably going to feel more like a low 80s, high 70s fielding card, just because the speed is going to cost him a little bit. But he's not bad. They're just cards that you would want to use over him, in my opinion. Ken Griffey is next. He always plays really well, obviously. He's going to rake. He has a pretty sweet swing. He's just going to be fun to use. His speed is a little bit low for Griffey, but I think, again, that's just to get his overall down. His fielding's really good. Honestly, he's pretty good all around. He's got 66 vision, which is perfectly fine. His contact numbers are okay. His power numbers are decent. He's a very well-rounded Ken Griffey Jr. card. He's going to be pretty viable, I think, for the first, I would say, 2 or 3 weeks. Again, all these cards, all the outfielders especially, they're going to be competition cards that will probably be better than them pretty quickly. But obviously, it's Ken Griffey Jr., so pretty fun card to use either way. Next up here is Josh Donaldson, and he has a great swing. So we talked about cards that are going to be outpaced quickly. This one's not one of them. You could get away with using this card for probably a month or so before you would feel the need to replace it. His swing plays above his numbers. He's always a really good card to pick in BR. This is a low diamond version of it. His speed is low, but at the corner infield spot that doesn't burn you too badly, and it's not so low that it's going to cost you a ton of base running opportunities. You're still going to be able to go first to third. You're still going to be able to score from second on a single most times, depending on who's in the outfield. He's not a burner, but he's fast enough. His fielding's not elite, but it's good enough. His swing plays above his hitting numbers. This is a really, really, really good card. Skipping over Yasiel Puig's because he is now playing in Korea, I want to say. We skip to MLB 14, that is Miguel Cabrera. And this card is going to rake. And this card is also a card you're going to need to play at first base, because the arm at third is tough. He is not fast enough to play the outfield, and you're going to want to play him at first. And as a first baseman, he profiles very well. Now, the problem with first baseman is that it is deep. That is a deep position. You have 99 Frank Thomas is already out. If you have him, you don't need this card. Even like Ortiz or Howard, if you want a left-handed player in this pack, if you wanted a left-handed bat, that's probably who you go with. But Cabrera is going to rake. He is probably, I don't know if he's the best, but he's top 2 hitting card in this pack for sure. But his fielding is tough. You're going to have to play him at first. The arm is just not good enough to play at third base. The arm is going to cost you. If you're new to the game, arm at third you need, and at short you need. Everywhere else you can kind of get away with having a noodle. Cabrera's got a noodle. And it's going to cost you some outs, and inevitably it will cost you a run or two. And if you're not amazing at the game, those runs are oftentimes hard to pick up. So Miguel Cabrera is going to rake, and as a bench bat even, he's going to be very viable for a while. but I don't know if that's the one you want to pick from this. Andrew McCutchen's up next. He's going to be quite fun. I think his swing is really good. Other people seem to think that's really bad, so this could be one you're going to have to like try out his live series and see if you can hit with it offline, and then switch over to this one, just as like a test drive, or try him out in like a showdown or something to see if you can hit with him. But the contact numbers are really good. The power numbers are okay. The vision is nice. The fielding's decent. The speed is good enough. This is a very well balanced outfield card. This is the right-handed version of Griffey. Yeah, I would not feel bad about taking him, but there will be cards, as I said, in the outfield. He's just going to have a lot of competition, so he's probably going to get outpaced quickly. But pretty fun card, pretty fun card. This might be the one I choose. Might be. Next up, new legend, Joe Mauer, and this one should be a fun card. Now, I have no real insight as to whether his swing is going to play well or not, because he hasn't been in the game for quite a while at this point. And even if his swing played well in like MLB 12, I honestly don't remember. That was like a decade ago. But in theory, in a vacuum, his contact numbers are very good. His power numbers are a little bit rough, but as a catcher, sometimes offense is hard to come by. There is the Conquest Mike Piazza you could grind for. If you're not into that, though, I think this is probably the second best catcher you could get immediately. JT Realmuto, the face of the franchise card, is up there. I'm curious to see how this card plays. I wouldn't mind taking this card, but also it is very possible that this card just flops. And it's very possible that this card is incredible. So, really hard to say. Really hard to say. Next up, 08, Ryan Howard. He is a first baseman, and he's going to rake. He cannot field. He cannot really run, but he has a lot of power. Early in the year, 45 vision is passable. His contact and power numbers are high enough that you can get away with that low of vision. He's going to mash, I think. Again, he's new. His swing could be awful. No real way to tell, but he could be really, really fun if his swing is good. And finally, David Ortiz, who is just Ryan Howard, but in Red Sox form. And really what it comes down to, if you're picking between Howard and Ortiz, is I imagine they're similar height, pretty similar weight. I imagine their swings are going to be the same. It's going to come down to who you like more. Just, you know, like the vision on Ortiz is a little bit better. I mean, it is better. 73 to like 49 is better. But against lefties, Ryan Howard's power is better. So it really depends on what you want to prioritize or who you like better. Now, top like 3 for me, I think Mccutchen is up there. That's going to be a personal one that I probably am going to wind up taking Mccutchen. Josh Donaldson, in all honesty, if you were like, I'm no money spent and I need a third baseman, this might be the one, because then you wouldn't have to touch third base for at least a while. Again, it's going to depend on if you are good with Donaldson's swing, but he tends to have a pretty good swing in game. And then like the third one, I would avoid Ohtani. I mean, Harper probably. Harper seems like he'll be pretty fun. Griffey is pretty well balanced, and versus righties, he is going to rake. So probably Harper or Griffey would be 3. The absolute avoids for me, if it were up to me, and again, this is my opinion, some of you guys probably hit better with these cards and worse with these cards. Aaron Judge is an avoid. 33 vision, 6'7", low contact. Like, that is a awfully small PCI once you start facing like even low diamond pitchers. It's an awfully small PCI coupled with a very big strike zone. It's a dangerous combo. That's really the only one I would have problems with. I mean, everybody else you could pick. Even if you're a Yankees fan, then pick Judge, obviously. But I don't know, everybody else I think you could get away with picking. And to finish out the video, we got to go find the collection, because there is a cover athlete collection. You can collect all 12 of these guys. You get a 96 Joe Mauer. And again, in a vacuum, it feels like he's going to rake. It is hard to tell because he's new, but I imagine they're going to make sure that he hits pretty well because he's a new legend. He's a catcher. He's a lefty. He is 47 speed. If you're going to nitpick, is a little bit slow. This is an end game catcher, though. Like, you could have this catcher for the rest of the year, and there's no one that's really going to be that much better stats wise. Like, it's going to depend on the swing, but stats wise, you're looking at like 99 Piazza is probably going to be better. But even like Jason Kendall's in the game, he's not going to be better when he gets up to like this range. He's going to be a little bit faster, but I don't think as a total card he's going to be better. Salvador Perez, maybe, if they give him like a 95, 96, could rival this because his power numbers are going to be higher. Pudge gets a 99 generally, at least he has the last couple of years, but his swing plays worse than his stats indicate. So this could be the best catcher we have in the game. Posada is the only one I'm pulling off the top of my head that could be better. But, I mean, if you collect all 12 and you have 96 Mauer to the end of the year, you're not upset because you can play him at first. Even as a bench bat, he's going to be fine, or as a defensive replacement, or, you know, emergency catcher, whatever. He's on your team the rest of the year. You don't feel bad about it. But that's going to do it for the video, guys. Like and subscribe if you guys did enjoy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.